Okay, our Coors Light pole winner for tomorrow night's 5th annual Spongebob Squarepants 400 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series race here at Kansas Speedway is Joey Logano. He's the driver of the number 22 AAA Insurance Ford for Team Penske. Joey, congratulations. This is your 12th pole in your career. You're leading the series this year with 4 poles, and it's your first pole at Kansas. And actually, you set another record today, believe it or not. You're the youngest pole winner in Kansas Speedway history.
Oh.
24 years, 11 months, 8 days.
Cool.
So
I'm still getting youngest records
that's
after
right.
been here forever.
So congratulations to that. Obviously, one thing that's impressed me is just your ability to qualify up front just about every single week. And coming here to Kansas was no different. What's your outlook for this weekend?
Pretty good. When you're starting towards the front at a racetrack like this, track position is key. We've all seen what clean air can do to a race car. So I feel like I got a fast AAA Fusion. Obviously in qualifying trim it was fast, but in race trim I also feel like it's got some good speed out there. And he's got to, seemed like in race trim we just had to figure out a way to make it last a little bit longer. It's fast for a few laps and it would fall off. So we'll hopefully make the right adjustments tonight for tomorrow night and make sure we got some speed in it and wait and see what happens. But definitely cool to be able to get another pole. Last year it took us pretty much a whole year to get one pole, and we won a lot of first and second sessions, but we would fall on our face in the third session. So it's pretty special to be able to figure out these third sessions and still have a lot of speed in our car when we get to those rounds and be able to get all the fun part. You don't get anything for winning the first and second round. That's what I figured out last year. So this time at least you get a cool stat and a flag and
Question for Joey.
Cool old pedal car.
That's right. Over here is Jerry Jordan has one.
Jerry Jordan kicking the tires. Joey, obviously poles are kind of old hat for you. I don't know how many you want in the whole year. I think you got 4 already. Your season is really going pretty good by most anyone's standards. What is your outlook going forward next week and then the weeks ahead with your team and building on what you've got the momentum behind you?
Well, just keep racing hard, being aggressive like we do. That's what this team does best is attack, and we've been able to have speed since last year racing that way, and we're going to keep moving forward. And we're fortunate to have that win that we got in Daytona and to be able to race hard like that. So we'll keep pushing hard. This is obviously going to be an important race when we come back here in the fall for the chase. So we want to make sure we got some good speed in it, which obviously we do right now. We'll see what happens in the race, but these are one of these important races that you got to make sure you're fast when you come back, because obviously the cars will change a little bit since then, or going into fall. But since the last race, there's been, obviously the rules changes have completely changed the race car. So it's neat to see that we still got speed with a completely different race car.
Real quick follow-up. Does it make it easier because you got that win? We hear drivers say, hey, I got a win, I'm qualified for the chase, but you're not slacking up and continuing to go forward.
You got to keep building momentum, and I realize it's a lot more fun running up front than it is in the back. So we want to keep racing hard and show that we deserve to be in it. And obviously, it does make you feel a lot better and a lot more comfortable when you have a win to fall back on. And weekends like last weekend, when you have a crash, it doesn't hurt as bad. It still sucks, but it's not as bad as it would be if you had to still rely on points possibly if you don't get a win before the chase. So right now it's just all about building momentum, keeping our team together and working hard, and keep building faster race cars like we've been.
Back in the, I'm sorry, this gentleman here, and then we'll go to Lee. Go ahead, sir.
Todd Engel with the Kansas City Star. Joey, obviously qualifying's been no problem for you this year, but when you win a race like you did here last fall, does the carryover, does the setup and anything, do you take the notes you have carry over into success into qualifying and running in the spring, or is it a different year, different mindset sort of thing?
I think a little bit of both. I think you got to be, just about anywhere else you go, you got to be able to look at your notes and understand what happened throughout the weekend and what you learned from it and what to do and what not to do. But you also got to be open-minded and willing to adapt to what's new. I talked a minute ago about, you know, how the car's rules have changed so much, and that changes the setup. So we obviously have to be open-minded to that. But as far as the way the race went, strategy, lines on the racetrack, those trends will most of the time just keep continuing. But as a driver, you got to be open-minded. Just because the line I ran in the fall here last year may not work this time. I think I qualified a different lane this time than I did last time I was here. Just trying to figure out what's the fastest for your race car. And you never have two race cars the same. So the same thing that works for one doesn't usually work for the other. So as a driver, you got to be open-minded. As a team, obviously, you have to be open-minded because the cars are way different.
Go ahead, Lee, in the back.
Lisa from Motorsport.com. They were talking on the radio today on the way in that you guys were so strong in qualifying last year. I mean, you're on the pole today, but do you feel like your qualifying program is as strong this season as it was last?
It's better. I think the 22 team in general has gotten better at qualifying. I feel like our first and second rounds last year was always our strong rounds, and then the third round we just never were able to make it happen. We only had one pole last year, so it's hard to say we were great in qualifying with one pole. But, you know, Todd and I talked about it a lot. I think we've learned some things as we keep going through these sessions on what we need to do to make sure we're fast in the third session. You know, it's just some of that, you know, you got to learn the strategy that goes into these qualifying sessions, because it's not like it used to be, obviously, with one lap. And we were good if it was one lap last year. We'd have a whole bunch of poles, but we weren't able to do it in the last one. And this year it's kind of fun to be able to stack them up right now. You know, in these last rounds, and it makes it fun. It's nice to start up front, nice to have a nice pit stall. Really helps out throughout the race quite a bit.
Go ahead.
Scott Traylor, Racing Boys Broadcasting Network. Joey, congratulations on the pole, by the way. We were talking about it a little bit ago on the radio that, you know, going from daylight to night, and with the track bar and the adjustment that you can make now, can you get to the setup a little bit quicker? How much does that help you make that transition? And in one given night of one race, how many times will you adjust on that track bar?
It depends on the driver. I use it quite a bit. I think most drivers use it quite a bit. The thing is, there's a fine line. You can go too far with it. You know, you can only move it so much before it starts reacting to, you know, other things in the race car, and then the whole car is just kind of all bound up or doing something just completely wrong, and you know, it's not the ideal setup. So eventually you start crutching the car. There's a fine line of what you can do to adjust the balance, and then you start going further in that, and you're taking overall grip away from your car just to try to find balance. And sometimes you have to do that. But I think when you come to a racetrack like this, the balance changes quite a bit from the beginning to 10, 15 laps in the run, so you can adjust your car a little bit that way. That's nice. The balance that you need in your race car from the bottom to the top is severe here. It's very, very different. So I think there's some adjustment there that might be able to help you. You know, and I think as the track widens out in the race, we'll definitely be on it. But there's only so much you can do as a driver still, even with that track bar, before you just kind of crutch up the rest of the car. So the crew chief still has a role in that. That's why the communication, I think, between the driver and crew chief is a little bit more important this year than it was last year, because you have more to talk about. But at the same time, if your car is complete junk, you can at least crutch yourself until you get to the next pit stop.
High low, though, I mean, from the minimum amount of adjustments to the most, how many in a night would you think, or a day, a race?
From the minimum to the max, I don't think you ever go all the way or all the way. Sometimes you do, but
How many times you actually go to it?
oh, you probably, I don't know, a lot. You know, so I mean, you get to the point that you start adjusting it for each corner. You know, you move it a lot.
Any other questions for our Coors Light pole winner? Way to go, Joey. Congratulations, and we'll see you out here tomorrow. Good luck tomorrow night.
Thank you.
Thank you.